My only hope is that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse, Walter Elias Disney. Disney World is such a beautiful place. From the dazzling lights to delicious food, Disney is the most magical place on earth. However, it was not always so magical. At one point, the parks had to be built. Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and MGM, or as it's called now, Hollywood Studios, were once just areas of blank canvas for Mr. Disney and his crew. Let's start with some information on Mr. Disney. Walter Elias Disney was born on December 5, 1901, to his parents, Elias Disney and Flora Call in Hermana, Illinois. He was one of 5 children. He grew up in Missouri on a farm where he began drawing and painting at a very young age. Walter Disney dropped out of school when he was just 16 to join the Army, but he was rejected because he was underage. So he decided to join the Red Cross instead. After traveling with the Red Cross ended, he began to pursue a career in newspaper comics. His brother Roy helped him get his first job as a newspaper animation artist with Pessman Rubin Art Studio. Eventually, Roy and Walt put their money together for an animation studio that quickly went bankrupt. His first character, Oswald the Rabbit, was not patented, so he was stolen by a trusted employee. It kinda sucks. Walt then created Mickey Mouse, and he was an instant hit. After that, the imagination poured out from Mr. Disney, and he began to make plans for a Disneyland. After Disneyland was created in California, Walt began to make plans for a Disney World in Orlando, Florida. He bought the Central Florida farmland property secretly so that the price per acre would not skyrocket. Disney would consist of 4 major theme parks: Magic Kingdom, Progress City, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. Unfortunately, Mr. Walt Disney would not see any of these parks arise due to his death of cancer on December 15, 1966. Magic Kingdom was created shortly after Mr. Disney passed. He was very involved before his passing. The park opened in 1967. The park was built to resemble Disneyland in California, except bigger. There are 6 themes inside Magic Kingdom. Those are Adventureland, Fantasyland, Frontierland, Tomorrowland, Main Street USA, and good old Liberty Square. There are 23 attractions inside Magic Kingdom. Out of those 23, only 3 are unique to Disney World Orlando. Those 3 are the Country Bear Jamboree, Hall of Presidents, and the Mickey Mouse Revue. The other 20 replicate Disneyland in California. Utilidors are an interesting thing. They were introduced in Disney World, Florida. They are a series of tunnels. A utilidor is a mix between the words utility and corridor. These tunnels allow cast members to walk through the park without disruption of the theme, such as like seeing a cowboy from Frontierland in the futuristic Tomorrowland. Florida has high water, so the utilidors were actually built on the 1st floor, and Disney World was built on the 2nd. However, utilidors were not added when other areas of the park were later added. There were only 2 instances where utilidors were added, and that is Future World and Progress City and Pleasure Island in downtown Disney. Speaking of Progress City, let's learn a bit about it. Progress City, now known as Epcot, was originally created to provide space where industrial and residential innovation could take place. Epcot stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. The building of Epcot did not start until 8 years after Magic Kingdom came about. It officially opened in 1979. Epcot was Mr. Disney's idea to help create a better society. People could live there for free as long as they were willing to try new innovations. While the city was never created, the theme park incorporates many of Mr. Disney's ideas. There are 2 themes inside Epcot. Those are Future World and World Showcase. Epcot is also considered the world's permanent fair. A lot of work went into creating Magic Kingdom and Progress City, and both are very magical places. Thirdly is MGM Studios, more widely known as Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios was created in 1988. At one time, Hollywood Studios was meant not only to operate as a theme park, but was used to record feature films. There are 2 themes inside the park. Those are Walt Disney Feature Animation and Walt Disney Studios Florida. Mulan, Lilo and Stitch, Brother Bear, and other films from 1990 to the early 2000s were created and filmed in Walt Disney Feature Animation. Other films, such as Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Teen Win, Lose or Draw, and Adventures in Wonderland, were filmed in Walt Disney Studios, Florida. In 1989, the official MGM section opened up with attractions, and while some have shut down, many more are expected to open soon. Lastly is Disney World's Animal Kingdom. This was the last of the 4 parks to be built. This park opened in 1998. It is the largest of the 4 theme parks. This park is so big because of its open-range safari that houses all the animals. It was the first Disney theme park to be centered around animal conservation. Disney used the word "not a zoo" to promote the park. The park is centered around 3 categories of animals. Those are animals that exist, those animals that did exist but are now extinct, and mythological creatures. The Tree of Life is one of Disney's Animal Kingdom's biggest attraction. According to Animal Kingdom, it stands 145 feet tall and 50 feet wide. It also has 325 animals carved into it, and guests have a 360 view of the tree. You can walk around the entire tree and see all of the animals carved into it. It's truly magical. In 2009, Disney's Animal Kingdom was the 5th most visited park in the U.S. and ranked 8th most visited in the world with a total of 9.59 million guests. Both Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom are intriguing, and a lot of work went into making these parks magical. In conclusion, a lot of work went into making these parks magical and making Walter Elias Disney's dreams come true. Magic Kingdom being the first with its fantasies and whim, then Epcot with its innovation. Hollywood Studios offers great entertainment and attractions, and lastly, Animal Kingdom with its importance of animal conservation. Despite all of these things, there is one thing that stands loud and clear, and that is the famous words of Mr. Disney. My only hope is that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.